How's it going, guys? It's Chex Undead. So we got the Gamescom trailer for the new Gamescom trailer for Resident Evil Requiem today. Plus, we got some leak information yesterday, the day before, something like that. And I think this kind of proves some of that leak information, for better or worse, depending on how you feel about it. You know, let me know in the comments below. I'm concerned, to be honest with you. I think that they are starting to actually move away from what made Resident Evil. And this is going to be like the final hurrah for it, if it's even really a hurrah for it at all. So let's go ahead and like jump into the trailer real quick. I'll talk about parts of it as we go. I also want to do a self promo real quick. I'm doing a $50 Steam gift card giveaway with a goal to get to 500 subscribers. I'm already about halfway there, so if you want to see more content like this and also help out a small content creator and join the giveaway, hit subscribe and go check out the link in the description below, and also hit the like button on this video, because that all helps. That also helps me out. Anyway, back to the video. There's a lot to kind of jump into here.
Man, come on.
So here, this is that hotel where Grace is asked to go like back to in the future. Kind of goofy, because this is also the same exact place where her mom is murdered. We'll talk about that more in a minute.
You have been on that thing all day.
Well, if you're gonna work so late.
Get some sleep, eh?
I'm almost done, just a sec.
It's really coming down hard.
Mom, phone. Mom.
It's right beside you.
Hello?
Miss Ashcroft?
Yes.
Who was it?
Dunno.
So I think I do kind of want to make a short comment here about, like, I think this kind of leans more into that like controversy that first happened after the first trailer about people calling her character like ugly. I think it was more people probably like saying that she kind of looked like a woke person. She has some of those aspects to her. Like I won't even lie about it. Like I have to admit it. You know, seeing younger version of her, I definitely see it there. Seeing this entire trailer as well, I definitely see it there. They made her a much weaker character. She's the weakest character by far of every Resident Evil character. Even Moira was a lot stronger than Grace as a character. Like we'll talk more about that in a second.
They asked for Miss Ashcroft and then they hung up on me. Rude. What the?
They're coming. Grace, we need to go.
Go where? Mom, what's going on?
Hurry.
Wait, who's coming? What's wrong?
We need to keep our voices down.
This is ridiculous.
Come on.
So they're in the hotel. I can't remember if I said it already or not. If I did, I sound stupid right now. They're in the hotel right now where her mom gets murdered. We're about to see that here in a minute. This is also the same place that Grace, for some reason, gets asked to come back to. This is also some other plot elements that we saw in the first trailer.
Tell me what's going on.
Now is not the time.
You also see the split right here from cutscene to gameplay.
Stay close.
Mom, wait.
Grace, keep moving.
This is actual gameplay right here. You're following her through the hotel.
Oh, who's that?
And this is supposedly the caretaker of the hotel.
I'm so sorry about the power outage.
What happened?
It's really no excuse, and I apologize for the inconvenience.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Don't worry.
I should have it fixed soon. I just need to find my...
And here we get Bag Hood Man. And if you look at his face, you know, you can see he's kind of decrepit already. He doesn't look right. He's like, he looks infected by something. He looks like he's been infected for like a little while. We're not really sure where this hotel is yet. It could be in Raccoon City. It could be in another place. I don't think they talked about it in the first trailer, like where this hotel actually is. It looks really old. It looks kind of empty and run down. So I kind of want to say that it's in Raccoon City, but likelihood of that is pretty low, to be honest with you. If they're doing a whole new outbreak, a whole new city, like apocalypse situation, then this has to be in like a different city. It can't be in Raccoon City. I think Raccoon City is going to have a whole different story element to itself, and then this is like its own section as well. I think we're getting multiple sections, and this is just one of them that we get to see.
Come on in, Grace. Great.
I'm assuming this is also probably like a jump cut a little bit later. Like you see that, and then like you run around for a little while longer, probably running and hiding from him, and then what we're about to see happens. I think this is also so if you remember from DMC 5, Devil May Cry 5, it wasn't a complete co-op game, but there was elements of co-op. Kind of. It worked really weird from what I remember as well, from the way it was explained. But there's sections where you're playing with either another AI or another like person that's playing another part of the story, and they're playing as that character. I think there might be parts of that to this, because there's been rumors and leaks about like playing as multiple characters, and you know, so that might mean like seeing things from different angles, or that might just mean like playing different parts of the story with a different character entirely. We'll have to wait and see what that means exactly.
Grace, look at me. Grab my hands. Okay, look at me. Look at me. In and out. Breathe in and out. Oh, Grace. I promise you, I will explain this all to you one of these days. Grace. Please know that you are my hope. Never forget that.
What are you talking about?
Just... I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Mom, I'm scared.
No. We need to find a way out of here now.
But we don't have any of our stuff.
We can come back for it later, Grace.
And that's where she gets got. So now I want to go ahead and start talking about my concerns and why I have them. First of all, I think they're kind of proving like so this is back at the Capcom Spotlight from like a couple months ago at this point, basically. This is where they were first showing the first trailer. They were talking about the character and character choices, things like that. Let's go ahead and just listen to what they said about why they chose this. And this directly kind of impacts like all of my opinion, like right here.
今回の主人公は FBI 捜査官グレース・アッシュクロフト。内向的で怖がり。バイオハザードとしては割と新しいタイプのキャラクターを作ろうとしています。プレイヤーと同じ目線で一緒になって怖がれる、こういうキャラクターを狙っています。物語の中でもちろん彼女も恐怖を克服し成長していくんですけども、 FBI 捜査官なので銃の扱いも慣れてますし、冷静な推理力とかも発揮しつつ活躍するキャラクターになってます。レオンを主人公にしようっていうのは実はずっとあったんですけども、どうしてもレオンを使ったバッチバチのホラーっていうのが割と難しくて、落ちてきたバケツにびっくりするとか、そういうレオンってそんなみんな見たくないやろっていうところで、じゃあホラーと食い合わせ悪いよなっていうのがやっぱりあります。
So here's why Leon is a good match for horror, and here's why this shows that Capcom might actually just be bad at horror. And this is kind of their problem and why they've not really known what the hell they're doing with the Resident Evil franchise. Basically since Resident Evil 4. So breaking this down, they want to make this basically like a really weak character. Like straight up, like looking at even like the new trailer, like yeah, she's a teenager, she's going through a really stressful situation, but like she clearly has been living with her mom, like kind of in hiding, kind of on the run for like probably her whole life. Like this is what her mom does. Like she has always covered dangerous stories. She covered the original Raccoon City incident. She covered something that was talked about in Resident Evil 7. You know, this is what she does. She has a dangerous job. People don't like her because of that. So some people are after her. Literally why they're living here. Literally why they're like in this on the run lifestyle like they are. Grace should not be a completely weak, narrow-minded, like scaredy cat character. She should be relatively tough at this point, even at this point in her life. Have somewhat of a grasp of like what's going on, the situation she lives in, and have like, you know, some self-defense training and like things like that, because her mom knows. Her mom's packing heat in her purse, for crying out loud. Like she knows what's up. So I think it doesn't really make sense to make her a complete scaredy cat character. And their reasoning for that is also kind of goofy. So the reasoning for it is because, you know, they want to make it more relatable for more people, trying to make it more mainstream than it already is. And trying to basically connect with people that get scared by every little thing, I guess. Like a bucket falling over or something like that. Which to me is really silly. And also, basically to counter that entire argument, look at Dead Space. Look at Resident Evil 4. Dead Space is not... So what makes Dead Space scary is that, and why you can also relate to the character, is because he doesn't know what's going on. He's not a scaredy cat character. He's dealing with really scary situations. And... excuse me. And at times, he does get scared, but he's not somebody that's like a scaredy cat. He's not somebody that's very weak-willed or anything like that. You know, despite basically the horrors in front of him, he finds a way to persevere and push through. Even as a strong character. Because even strong characters can be put in scary situations that make you scared even as a player. Look at Resident Evil 4, for instance. The entire Progenerator section, even in Resident Evil 4, everybody thinks that's scary because it's weird. It hits the creepy elements really well. The environment's really creepy. It's claustrophobic. You feel a little more limited. And because it takes more puzzle solving and skill to deal with, rather than just like straight up firepower, that's what makes it such a more like scary and intense scene. It has nothing to do with camera angles. Camera angles just make it more difficult. Difficulty just adds frustration and anxiety because you're afraid of things not working out. You're not afraid of the situation. You're just afraid because you can't see. That's why like I hate, you know, the whole like camera angle debate. That didn't really make anything scary. That just made it difficult. That didn't make it scary. It just, yeah. Again, going back to like Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 and things like that, Over the Shoulder can be really good for horror. Resident Evil 2 was actually a pretty good horror game. It had those elements of like, you know, needing skill and needing to know what to do and like how to deal with situation. There were some hallways that were just filled up with zombies, and like, again, firepower wasn't always a solution because you didn't always, even if you had a bunch of guns and a bunch of ammo, there's still just a bunch of zombies and they're tough, and like just one or two headshots isn't enough to always kill them or whatever. So it's the threat level that made it more frightening, and the, being worried about, do I have enough bullets to, get through this, Am I going to be fast enough to get through this? Am I going to be able to hit them in the head before they all come crambling at me and start eating me? Do I have enough space? And, things like that. That's what really makes it survival horror. Those are all the true elements of a good survival horror game. And also having good monsters. That's I would say definitely like the biggest. That's 50% right there. The other 50% is all of the gameplay matching up, and the other 50% is the enemies, the monsters being correct. In this case, for Resident Evil, it should usually be zombies and monsters of some variety. They did zombies really well in Resident Evil 2. They were still pretty good in Resident Evil 3 Remake as well. I think Resident Evil 1 actually had the best zombies because you could... So instead of just getting up multiple times, you would kill it, and then eventually it would get back up again as a Crimson Head, which is like a much stronger zombie. So if you didn't burn the body or completely destroy the skull or, the head, whatever, it would be able to get up later because it would keep reanimating and the T-virus would keep turning it and changing it and, making it stronger and then bring it back to life again. That made it really scary, especially because you could literally, as you're walking through, you could start to see it changing on the ground and you would slowly notice it and be like, what's up with that? And then later you'd come back through that hallway or that room again, and all of a sudden you'd hear the creepy noise as it's getting up. And you're like, wait a minute, everything in here should be dead. And then it comes sprinting at you, full bore, coming at you down the hallway to rip you to shreds with these giant claws. That was scary. That was an actually scary, like, zombie monster element to the game. That was awesome. That's something they really should bring back, especially for Requiem. If they're making it a Requiem to the original games, bring back Crimson Heads, man. That's a necessity. Like, those were scary. Those were awesome. I really hope to see those in this game. I really hope to see more zombies in future Resident Evil games. I'm going to make a video talking about the future of Resident Evil and why I'm kind of worried about that from some of the leaks that we got. But yeah, I'll digress on that for now. I actually do really want to point out, so the gun that her mom has is the same gun that she has here. So that might actually be her mom's gun. So she might actually, since we get gameplay in that first section, I'm wondering if we have to then survive her mom's attacker. This game supposedly is going to deal with like a lot of trauma. So that's another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about related to the leaks that I'm really worried about. So they said they were going to make this game more like, or they're going to start making Resident Evil more like The Last of Us. I'm worried about that really just in story, much less in gameplay. Gameplay wise, as long as they don't make the guns stupid, which I already know they're not going to do that. Resident Evil is actually pretty decent when it comes to guns. Like, they do guns pretty well. They put interesting guns in there, and they do guns pretty well. That's really all I got to say about that. I am worried about the story elements of them messing that stuff up. I think the gameplay stuff will fit like the stalker mechanics and those areas. And if they're going to make it more open world, I think that also will fit that. Being able to like craft things and finding supplies to make stuff, things like that. I think that fits Resident Evil. I think that would actually, like, especially for an open world Resident Evil game, I think that would work really well, especially if they do it right. The things that I'm worried about is the story elements that they're going to change going forward with that. So we already kind of saw, I think, some of that with like Village, where they're focusing more on story rather than gameplay, which is they're going almost like this weird kind of like Kojima Naughty Dog route, where they want to have these like weird emotional like slow parts, but then they also, still want it to be like cool and cinematic and stuff, and it's starting to, like, I'm getting the weird vibe from it. You can definitely feel the like Kojima inspirations still there with Resident Evil Requiem already. I don't know how I feel about that. I hated it from Resident Evil Village. I thought that was awful. But, you know, we'll see what they do with it here. I felt really good about it in the first trailer. That's what's so conflicting to me about this, is that it's like it took one trailer from probably like the beginning of the game to completely like change my opinion. And granted, that also comes with some of the leaks as well, but hearing that they want to make it more like The Last of Us is what really like started to make me see a lot of the like patterns and different things that you need to pay attention to when you're looking at stuff like this. There is still hope for this. I'm not outright saying that this is going to be like, I'm not outright worried that this is going to be a bad game. I still have hope that this is a promising Resident Evil game. I think if we still get like zombies and they actually do that stuff really well and that they keep with that, then, it looks like we're going to keep with that, then this could be a really good Resident Evil, Requiem game. I hope that it is. I dearly, dearly pray that it is. Because look, they're even talking about set during the original zombie outbreak. It looks like they're referencing all these characters here. It looks like they really want to make this like a big shebang. I feel like we're gonna get more than just Leon. I know that the leaks were talking about just getting like one other playable character or something like that, and that we are going to see Leon or something. I think we're probably going to see more than just one character. I already talked about in another video how there's a lot of voices we hear right here in this scene. And I think one of them is Carlos. I think it would be really cool to finally see Carlos come back in another game. And since this is, a requiem to the original series and a send-off to all of it, I think that they're going to try their hardest to pay their respects to all of the original characters, all of the original events, and all of that stuff that happened with the original series. I think that we can expect this to be a pretty big game. Like, on the scale of, like, Resident Evil 4 or, 6, where it's like you get a bunch of campaigns with a bunch of sections, and, it's like the whole campaign or whatever takes you at the least, like, 16 to, like, 24 hours long just to be able to complete. Unlike the like speedrunning games, speedrunning really messed up Resident Evil, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like some of the people, but I hate the speedrunning community for what they did to Resident Evil. It really jacked things up for everybody. But talk about that in another video. That's about all I got. I don't think I really need to talk about anything else for right now. I'll make another video tomorrow, talk about the demo and whatever more information that we get. There wasn't a whole lot of information in this, unfortunately. But just some stuff that lines up with other things that we've heard. This matches up with some scenes that we got from the original trailer as well. We see a scene where it's showing her against the door. Where is it? Right here. Oh, actually, I guess I'll use this to kind of talk about another thing that I'm worried about with this game. I mentioned it, but I didn't finish talking about it. So it seems like they're going to really use this game to... If you remember from like Resident Evil 8, they had the Megamycete was the thing that was causing like supernatural stuff in the game, which is what they were trying to like lean into basically to add the horror elements to the game to try to make it scarier, which I thought was really weak and kind of goofy because like it's a really... So anyway, my point being, now they're going to like the whole like I have trauma, I have a horror past or whatever that still haunts me and I can't get over it yet. So now that's going to be the new thing. That's been like really overdone in my opinion. Like if you go find any random horror game to play and there is an 80% chance that that's the story. I'm haunted by my past and it still bugs me. Now I got to deal with something new and the scary ghosties of my past, or something like that, basically. And I'm afraid that's what we're going to get here. So that's how they're going to introduce some of those, like, horror elements, where you're going to be having flashbacks, and you're going to be, like, tripping out and going through stuff like that. I don't really want stuff like that. I don't really need, I don't need Resident Evil to turn into, like, the, look, there's, you know, PTSD, like, awareness simulator type games. Like, I don't need that from Resident Evil. I just need Resident Evil to do good action horror, survival horror, where it's like I'm struggling against the odds to fight and survive against zombies and monsters. Like, that's what I really want from Resident Evil. That's all I want from Resident Evil, with a cool story and cool characters to boot. We are slowly, actually pretty rapidly at this point, getting further and further from that. And I just really miss what Resident Evil used to be. I'm still hopeful about this. Don't get me wrong. I really want to see what we get tomorrow with the demo. I really want to see what more information we possibly get this week. I don't think this is the only thing that we're going to see. I think we have another official day of like Gamescom's trailers or something like that. There's several days of like different events and things, but I think there's another like same event like this where we might get to see a little bit more. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we get like an interview or something. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end. If you could hit the like button below and the subscribe button if you want to see more, I would really appreciate it as a new YouTuber. I will definitely, like I said, be covering more of this. I've got a lot more to say about the Resident Evil series, like as a whole, since I've been such a long time fan. I have a lot of strong opinions about it, but I'm not going to dish them all out into one video because these all always end up being like 20 to 30 minutes long, even just for something short like this. But I think it's cool because there is a lot to break down here, especially like the more information we get, it's like a giant puzzle and we can start to put the pieces together. That's kind of the cool thing about Resident Evil games, that they're puzzle games, and even learning about them in themselves is a puzzle. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Enjoy your week. Enjoy Gamescom. Take care. Bye.